Yo, 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 what's up? Lucifer Constantine with you again with another episode. And I got my friend again, Jairus, my co-host, for now. Don't know, maybe. Anyway. Jairus, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Good. What you been up to since last time we talked?
Sleeping and working.
Sleeping and working?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, me too. Yo, I feel like when we work, like days go by fast.
They do. They
right?
really do, like, for real.
Especially if you're going to work and school. Like when I go to school in the Culinary Center in Manhattan, since my classes are like at night, and then my job is like in the daytime, days be going by and I'm just like, damn, I feel like I'm waking up, doing shit, and then next thing you know, I'm in bed.
No, for
and
real.
I'm like too tired to do anything.
Especially when you're doing things that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
It like goes by fast because it's like, damn, like, it's like shit's going by and I'm just like counting down the hours until I have to do this fucking shit.
Word, yo.
It's like,
wait, so you do what fucking shit?
So go to work.
Oh, yeah. But you go to work at night.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't want to do it. You do it for money. That's it.
Yo, and you know what's funny? Because you were sending me those little videos
I sent you that for a reason.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't want a job.
Yeah. I sent you that one when he made his first retirement speech, and he's like, and someone asked him, "Do you need a job?" And he's like, "No, never had a job, don't want one now." And then there was another one with Dan Bilzerian, and he's like, "Hey, I don't need a job." And I've sent you that for a reason because we both think the same way in the sense of like, I have the saying like J-O-B, job, J-O-B, just ordinary business. It really is, man. For real.
You know what's funny though about Dave Bilzerian?
But about him.
I don't know if you heard, but there's been a whole freaking attack on his character because they found out that he was like lying about a lot of shit. I
heard something. I didn't hear exactly what it was, but I did.
What did you hear?
I heard like something similar to like the like accusations of beating someone or something like that, or probably something about women or like being something.
No, that's not what I heard. What I heard was about how he's making his money.
Oh, well, he's a gambler.
I mean, yeah, it's funny too because it's like, what do you expect dealing with a gambler? Like, nigga gonna play you with con man.
Yes.
Right? I mean, the nigga won millions of dollars playing poker. And I think it was like, what, online or?
That was he's online poker. I don't think he actually goes to.
Right. I mean, I think he does go to casinos.
Every once in a while.
But I think he won the majority of his money. Sorry, I'm like scratching my arm right now.
It's all good, man.
But yeah, like I found out that he has like a lot of fraudulent activity going on with his businesses and shit like that. Like he was taking like a lot of investor money. It's crazy, especially like when you look up to people like that. Cause he got interviewed on London Real.
He got interviewed on Larry King Now too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he did. Dead ass. I'm not making it up. Like he got interviewed on that, and he was actually talking about how he puts together parties and how he wanted to get laid as quickly as possible, and like just going into like his leisure activities basically because like as a professional poker player you're gonna have like a lot of time on your hands because you're not working at 9 to 5. So he basically just goes and no, seriously,
with all the bitches that he got, he definitely had a lot of time on his hands.
Exactly.
I mean, you need a lot of time to deal with like 10 women, and I think he had more than that.
I think he it's almost like going to DR almost like
the DR.
It's like I say that because like DR, the women outpopulate the men, so it was almost like they had the same scenario in the sense of like, okay, I'm gonna invite a lot of women, like 200 women and 30 guys.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah,
and I'm Dominican.
No, he said that, and it's like that's smart because like why do people go to DR to get laid? Because the women outpopulate the men.
I heard that people go to Brazil to get laid.
I didn't know that either. Like South America, all right.
Yeah, but DR, is Central America.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean, I heard the same thing about DR, but I haven't been there in years. So
I say that because I hear like I heard my dad say something about that once. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? That makes sense because a lot of people do go to DR to get laid. For a lot, it's fine. It's fine. That's your prerogative,
Which one would you prefer to go to, DR or Brazil?
I don't care because I can get girls out of the way. Like for me, it's like this. It's like it doesn't really matter about the place. It's about who you are. Like if everyone has their own scenario, right? But like for me, it's like It would probably also depend on exactly what I want to experience more, because with DR that would be fun, but at the same time, I've never been to Brazil. That would be fun to go to like a whole.
I've always wanted to go to Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, for real. Like when you talk about those like really exotic countries like that, like I actually had sex with a Brazilian like a few years ago. It wasn't like she wasn't like a model or anything.
I wish I did.
Yeah, but it was actually pretty awesome, because I actually had like an argument with my friend earlier that night. I'm like, oh, I'm cool now. I got laid. So I'm good, man. But yeah, I would probably, to answer your question, I probably would go to Brazil more so than DR.
Okay. So today we going to talk about a couple topics, not just one. You know, today is kind of like a chill day. But before I say anything, I just want to express everything I'm about to say is purely opinionated. You know, it's my impression of things that have been going on recently. So don't quote me. If you want to find out the information, you can go on YouTube, just like I did, and search up the info. You know, but speaking about characters, right?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of stuff going on with politics right now.
Yes.
You know, you got voter fraud going on.
Yep.
Right? You got leftists and rightists like going at each other. You know, you got the media picking sides. You know, it is crazy times. Crazy times, because in this year alone, we had a pandemic.
Yes.
We've had riots,
celebrity
deaths,
riots,
protests. Like, America is awakening.
For me, it's exhausting, and I say that because it's like I've been on this already. You too. So it's like okay, yeah. I mean, that's just me, because I actually like talked to Dilton about it. I'm just like exhausted, especially when speaking of deaths, with like you talking about George Floyd, and it's like, okay, well, you guys are just noticing this now that police brutality exists. It's like, come on.
See, but
yeah,
in my opinion,
go right ahead.
When it comes to George Floyd's case,
Go right ahead.
his specific case, it was found out months later that it wasn't really police brutality. I mean, it's excessive force. I do agree with that, but I don't think it's police brutality. I think police brutality is above excessive force. It's like excessive. That's like beating the crap out of you. You know, obviously the guy suffocated because the cop had his knee on his back. That's a little bit excessive, because the guy is a big dude. You know, you didn't have to put your knee on his back. There's so many ways you could have handled that situation, right? Everybody has their own way of looking at it. I have my way of looking at it because I used to be a cop in the military, so I got trained for these type of things. But, you know, I feel like, you know, in general, when stuff like that happens, people tend to draw conclusions way too fast.
That's true.
You know, I feel like this year has shown a lot of people in America how ignorant a lot of people in America are. You know, because, you know, we are the people who have the power to make changes in this country, right?
Yes.
But what you've been noticing is a trend of American people not knowing what the fuck they're talking about half the time. You know, they just listen and just take information for what it is. They don't even like do proper research or investigations. You know, like we were
just talking about this today, yo, for real.
Who are you talking to about it?
My brother, Quincy.
And what you guys were talking about?
We were talking about basically people just taking things for surface level and basically not looking at it for like the details. Like, for example, for those of you who don't, well, you don't know, but I'm telling you now. Like, I love Henry VIII, right? Like, he's one of my favorite historical figures. There's this one comment that I left on a Law of Attraction Guru's channel. Her name is Veronica Isles. Isles, yeah, I'm thinking of Mars for some reason. What the fuck? But no, I'm left on a comment saying, because I think she was in England, some part of England, and I said like, oh, Henry VIII is one of my favorite historical figures. A woman left on a comment saying, how do you like Henry VIII? Or you like Henry VIII, but he killed all his wives. He didn't. You know, he killed 2 of them. I mean, not that's the point, but still, you know, it's like the misinformation is
they
like,
exaggerate.
It's like this exaggeration of like what you think you know. Like, for example, as much as right as I am, I don't want people to always listen to me. And the reason why is because when you get to a point where you're listening to one person and you say this is what's right, or be prepared for the worst, or certain things like that, and it creates a very troublesome mindset in the sense of like, okay, I'm going to listen to this because I feel like this is right, but the truth is nothing's right.
Right.
You know, in the sense of like, you know, what you know may work for you, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for me at the same time. It's like don't question what I have to say. Don't just listen to me. As I don't like being questioned but like I rather you question me and learn how to think versus like taking something verbatim, reading something. And like, for example, Quincy used to do this all the time. He's like, he would always give me like scientific facts and articles that he would read, and I was like, how do you know? I would be like, how do you know? You're not a scientist. And it would be like that for a long time.
Yeah.
But just like things like that, like, okay, just don't take everything verbatim. Almost, it's like actually think about what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I wouldn't want anyone to take what I have to say, even though I am right, and for the majority of the people that I do like talk to, like, yo, you're right. But at the same time, it's like I could also be wrong too, because sometimes people can catch me and be like, oh, okay, so what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? In fact, I had a conversation with my friend Brandon months ago about like, you know, what we were talking about last week in terms of like relationships and marriage and things like that. And he actually caught me on something, and he actually said, okay, what about this? And I love when people say that, so I can tell them exactly what I mean by this particular situation, because I think about these things. I'm left alone with my thoughts a lot, so it's like, yeah. I have no problem telling people that.
Yeah, and part of that has to do with the fact that people tend to only look at one source of information.
Exactly.
When we've been taught in school from very young, there's always one person's side, the other person's side, and what actually happened. Mm-hmm. You know, and our memories can't be trusted. You know, Unfortunately, we can't record every moment, every second of our lives to prove what is and what isn't. Right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like people in this country should still be a little bit more mindful about the information that they take in. Mm-hmm. You know, I've spoken to a lot of my friends recently about everything that's been going on. And, you know, not that I pick any sides, but, you know, I have friends saying, oh, I voted for Biden, you know, because Trump is racist, Trump is this, Trump is that. And I'm like, how do you even know that everything that you're saying is true? Oh, because I saw it on the news. That's the only thing that you saw?
Exactly.
You didn't look into it? There's like a whole bunch of fucking videos on YouTube.
There's 2 types of ignorance. There's the ignorance that you can use in a positive way. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if I said this last week, but I'm saying it again. Like, you can't say or spell the word ignorant without the word ignore. So ignorance could be a good thing if you know how to use it. Mm-hmm. But what we're talking about is traditional ignorance in the sense of societal ignorance, in the sense of like people just looking at it verbatim and not really looking at it in the sense of like, okay, well, you know what, you just look at one thing and you just believe it like that.
Right.
I mean, it's almost like they're like overgrown children. You expect that from a child because they don't have anything else to go on. Mm-hmm. But when you have someone who's lived 20, 30 years, seen a lot, been around the block a lot, and you think like, okay, well, you know what do you think about this? And what's your opinion on this? And expecting like something a little bit more profound than, oh, well, I don't know, you know, or, oh, well, this is this and this is that. Like,
and it's on both sides, because if you look at this country between the Democrats and the Republicans, right? It's on both sides, because you have Trump supporters, right, who just believe whatever he says, right?
Right.
But they don't look into everything that he says.
Exactly.
Right? They just take it for what it is. Just the same way people on the Democratic side who are sided with Biden, right, also don't look into everything that Biden does.
Like, listen to certain rumors about the people too. Like,
right?
Sometimes rumors are a good thing if you know how to if you know how to listen to it. Like I said this last week, like, you put the right book in the right person's hands, they can change the world. You put the right book in the wrong person's hands, then God knows what they'll do with it, you know? Because that's the difference between someone who's open-minded, someone who can actually believe in it. Even if they don't believe in it, they're open enough to actually see what you're talking about and be like, okay, well, you know what? I tolerate it or accept it, but I'm not going to be close up to it and say like, no, this is what I believe in. There's a difference between denying and defying. You know, like you can be denying is completely shutting it out completely. Just like there's a difference between being pessimistic and it's not a word for that, but I'll get back to that later. But like I said, there's a difference between denying and defying, as opposed to denying being rejecting it completely, and defying as in being aware of something, but choosing not to acknowledge it altogether. Like for example, like I'm sure you heard the term toxic positivity. Toxic positivity to me is like basically being up in the air and not being aware that of your negative feelings at all, or negativity in general. You know, like a lot of Gen Zs, I think I said this last week too. I'm quoting myself a lot from last week. But a lot of Gen Zs, they want to live in this utopia of positivity, which is never going to happen. Not because it's impossible, but because it contradicts how the world works.
It's unrealistic.
It's very unrealistic. It's one of the laws of the universe, besides the law of attraction, the law of vibration.
Yeah, because
it's the law of gender, masculine and feminine energy working.
They have to coexist, positive and negative, and it's still relative, because positive to one person is negative to another, and negative to one person is positive to another.
Exactly, you have to look
like
life
it's all relative,
and
and that's why I feel like it's very dangerous that in this country the media is saying that we're so divided. You know, people in this country should not be divided. You know, because this is the only country in the whole world.
Divided in what sense?
Divided between red and blue.
Oh, okay.
You know, the media is trying to paint that that America is split in half between red people and blue people. That's how it's become now. Red people and blue people, right? And it shouldn't be like that. No. You know? No. Because I understand, you know, being a Republican or being a Democrat because of certain points of views, but we're at an age now where there shouldn't be any sides, right? There should only be what we feel as a people is best for all of us, right? For all human beings, you know? And like, I can't wait for the day where instead of red and blue, everybody's purple. Right?
Right in between?
Right in between. I'm surprised they haven't even created a party like that. We purple. We agree with some views of Republicans and views of Democrats.
They kind of do. It's the independent party, basically, if you like use it independent.
Yeah, but you know, they never cover independent people.
No, because they wanted to like, I'm sure politics makes money too, and it's all like a money game almost. It's like, okay, well, you know what? I don't care so long as I make money. It's the rich thinking that they're better than
It's an illusion.
Exactly.
It's an illusion. All of it is an illusion. It's all a game to them. You know, because, you know, each party, no matter who's president, who's not president, they both have agendas. Right? And the people of this country have to be aware of that and do something about it. Like, me to this day, I've never voted for any president. Since the day that I could vote when I was 18 to now, 28, 10 years, I've never voted for neither side. Why? Because I never liked either side. I've never met someone who, to me personally, is someone that I can 100% trust. You know? Yeah. And yeah, I understand it's our right to vote. You know, we should vote, but we can choose not to vote. Because if we, the people, have the power, then we can choose to be like, you know what? We don't like none of the candidates. Pick new ones. You know, pick better people. Pick more real people. You know, because you can't force the people's hands. And that's what these parties try to do. They try to force their hands. They say, oh, look over here. This party is bad because of this and this and that. Oh, no, look, this party is bad because of this and this and that. You know, they're always fighting about the same damn policies for decades.
And you wonder what
they do little changes, little fucking changes, so they can argue about the same policies the next election. You know? And it's ridiculous. So that's why I don't vote. Because to me, like, I don't like the whole concept of picking sides. Right? It's like it's like this show that I was watching, you know, because I don't want to keep talking about politics, but it's like this show that I was watching. You ever heard of the show 60 Days In?
I feel like I have.
On Netflix? It's like where they have these participants going to jail for 60 days to like investigate the prison, see how it's being run, see how the gangs are getting drugs in.
So I saw something similar, but it was actually like not on Netflix, but it was like a show on I think FX a long time ago where they were trying to scare kids into going to prison.
Yeah, Scare Straight.
Yeah, that one.
Right, but this show, right? They pick 5 participants.
Yeah.
From all different backgrounds, and they basically make them infiltrators. Excuse me. Into the prison, right? And basically each one has a mission.
Right.
To figure out what's going on in the prison, whether it's to see if the guards are treating the inmates right, or whether you have to infiltrate a gang to find out how they're bringing in drugs, violence, shit like that, right?
Right.
And what makes me sad is that in our prison system in this country, our prison systems have created more racist scenarios than outside of it.
You know what's funny? I was actually looking at Harvey Weinstein, like where he was being held the other day, and it says something correctional facility, and I'm thinking, okay, well that has to be like a white collar prison, or like, and you know, white collar prisons are like hotels almost, so it's like, okay, so he's paying his debts to society in luxury. It's almost like, okay.
Yeah, but it's not just that. Yeah. It's the fact that even in our prison systems, we force prisoners to stick with their race. In this show, it literally shows you that when you go to prison, it doesn't matter if you've never been affiliated with a gang. It doesn't matter if you're not racist. Once you go through those doors, if you're black, white, or brown, you gotta pick. You have to join the gang that is your skin color, no matter what. You have like no choice. Absolutely no fucking choice. If you don't choose a race, they'll kill you. They'll fucking kill you just because you don't want to be part of their rules and their systems. And the guards allow it to happen. You know? And that's the kind of stuff that makes you really think like, well, no wonder that most of these guys, when they get out, they go back in. Right? Because you put them in this box with these rules, with this different world. And then you expect them to get out of that world and function properly.
It's a psychological game. It really is.
It does. Yeah. It is.
It is.
You know, most of our prisons don't even do shit for its prisoners. You know, they just fucking, you know, make them do their time and stuff like that. And yeah, some of them have programs for education, for, you know, bettering yourself. But how are you supposed to better yourself and become a better human being when your inmates that you're with are forcing you into their race wars, into their mentality? You're following the mentality of savages, of barbarians. You can be the smartest guy in there, and the dumbest motherfucker in prison runs that shit. And you have to listen to him, or he take your life. It don't matter how smart you are. No matter how educated you want to get. And that's how I feel happens in our country as well. You know, with the ghetto, with gang violence, with drugs. You know, because, you know, it's one thing, you know, when we make fun and we do stereotypical stuff, you know, it's there's a difference between, you know, what I call racist humor, which isn't really racist. It's just acknowledging that some races have like their little kinks and quirks and habits.
Some stereotypes exist for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
Like there was something about, I was watching like Guy Code years ago and it was like, I've never met a black person who doesn't not like fried chicken. And like little things like that. It's like, I don't take offense to that, you know? It's like, but if like some, or like Asians and like how they squint their eyes and like stuff like that. And like, so, I mean, they do have those quirks. It ain't like it's false. It ain't like it's false at all, but it's
right.
Like, you know, some people just like way too sensitive, and that's the problem with that you see with the younger generation. In fact, I think Seth MacFarlane had said something where he had said, what did he say? He said that how did like a whole generation that grew up on Family Guy talk about and now is now saying like now being sensitive towards every little thing. I don't think it's so much that the generation that grew up with it, because the generation that grew up with it, us, that really like that love it, really care about this stuff. It's more so the generation that grew up after us, you know, the Gen Zs that like.
You think that they're the ones who want to be more politically correct?
I think there's a lot of them that are, yeah, because
you don't think it's the ones before us?
No, And the reason why I say that is because you see that a lot on social media. And it's like you see like a lot of Gen Zs on Snapchat, on fucking Instagram a lot. You know, like I'm not as on Instagram a lot. So like I mean, not on Instagram posting that stuff a lot. So it's like, you know, I think that's more of a generational thing, more so than an actual like, okay, you know what, this particular generation that grew up with this show actually actually is the one saying this, because I actually do believe that the ones that do grow up with that don't really have that same mentality. Quincy and I have had conversations about that a lot, in the sense of like, okay, you guys are being too sensitive at this point. Like you're PC in everything, you know. And we talk about like how this is like how that sensitivity is really ruining freedom of speech just because you don't like it. But it's also, it's not just the generation so much so as what's also going on. Like for example, like they used to make shit ton of gay jokes, not just on Family Guy, everywhere.
I grew up with that.
Yeah, we both grew up with that.
See, like, but what's funny though is that when I grew up with that, that shit made me insecure.
Really?
Yeah, because I grew up not only with seeing a lot of gay jokes and, you know, even rappers talking about gays, making fun of gays and things like that. But like, you know, growing up in a Christian home, you know, my parents, my stepfather always fucking making inappropriate gay jokes. You know, in church talking about homosexuality. You know, they would have niggas come in to church testifying how God made them straight. But yet they're saying their testimony all flimsy and feminine like. It's like, God didn't change you, nigga. You lying to yourself.
Yeah.
That means you're gonna be single for the rest of your life just because you're afraid of going to hell because you gay. Because you know you ain't gonna get it up with a girl. Like, that's just, it's bullshit, right? Yeah. But kind of lost track where I was going with that. But I grew up with that, and it made me insecure because, you know, when I was little, I was kind of bisexual. You know, I was going through the normal thing, and as a kid, like trying to figure out what I liked. You know? I
don't think I've ever had that phase. I love women too much. That's just me.
Right, but like some of us, like me, you know, we figure it out little by little, experimenting. Right? Of course, now I definitely love more women than men. Right? Doesn't mean I wouldn't do stuff with guys, but for me, you know, I prefer females. But it took me to figure that out for myself. But imagine like going through that as a kid, and then you have like almost, you felt like the whole world was against you. Like, because what if I end up turning gay? Like, I'm dead for the rest of my life. Like, and it's not, my parents are gonna hate me, you know? No, it's not. So I can understand how maybe some of that kind of like leaked into Gen Z's being even more politically correct and even like fighting for, you know, the right pronouns for transgenders.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not beneficial. I mean, half the list I was talking about actually came from like, you know, the appreciation of like how we look at gay people now and how we look at lesbians now and like how we look at like certain subcultures the way we do now. And I'm like, yo, this is actually dope, because now people can actually listen to what I'm saying, as opposed to if I looked at this in 2012, 2013, 2014, I probably wouldn't have got the same idea. First of all, I didn't have those ideas then, so I'm just really propositioning this, but like I probably would have, well, not ostracized, but definitely like more so like not as happy as I am now in the sense of talking about it, and actually not just talking about it, actually putting it to work, because the truth of the matter is shit only gets worse if you don't talk about it, in the sense of keeping it to yourself. I mean, I didn't explain that right, but what I'm basically saying is this: like like you have to be yourself, or the alternative is you're gonna be sad for the rest of your life. Like I remember Jake Ducey, who's a YouTuber as well. He's like a lot of trash YouTuber. He's actually talking about how like over 50% of people don't ever like find the perfect relationship, and they end up going through life not not being with their particular person, or believing that love doesn't exist, in the sense of like finding that special person. And you have 75% of people that live paycheck to paycheck, and then you got like 90% of people I'm forgetting the statistics, but basically the statistics are high of living a life that's not worth living, in the sense of like you're not living your purpose or not living your dream life. And I think about those statistics, even though I don't watch the news like that, really. I think about those statistics, and with all those realistic realities that are right in front of your face, you're still choosing to live a life that you desire, that doesn't coexist with what's inside,
right.
You know, in the sense of like, okay, well, you know, you're seeing all these realities in front of you, you're seeing all the statistics in front of you, yet you're still choosing to live like a mediocre existence, basically.
Right.
And it's like
you're doing what other people want for you,
exactly.
not what you want for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're basically like living for other people
and
versus living for yourself.
And some people are not even aware that they're living for other people, because they've lied to themselves so much, and they believe that lie, that they've reprogrammed themselves into who they currently are.
Exactly. And that's the thing about like the way the multiverse works, is like if you put it doesn't matter. I mean, you can consider a lie, but if you write anything on a piece of paper and read it often enough, you will believe it, whether it's a lie or not, you know? I think like Bob Proctor is another law of attraction guru that actually said, like, you know, it doesn't matter what you plant in a garden, like if you can, it will grow in abundance as the other. I mean, if you look at Hitler, he actually used Hitler as an example. Like, he told people a lie, and the way he said it in a charismatic way, there are a lot of people that actually still believe he was right to this day. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like, people have lied, like you said, people have lied, and they're living for others versus living for themselves. It also depends on where you're coming from with that, because you can come at it from the perspective of a martyr and actually like see it from the perspective of, I'm helping such and such person. But at the same time, now we know that's not going to necessarily get you anywhere. Like, I used to admire people that were selfless, but the truth of the matter is, being selfless is not the way either.
You know, you have to always have a balance.
You do.
I believe in balance very much. When it comes to all those things you're talking about,
yes,
it's all about moderation
and balance.
And I think that's the most difficult thing for people to accomplish.
It can be. It can. Also, like,
you know, and a lot of it is because you're dealing with external forces, your family, society, your environment, you know, school, politics, like everything influences you. So you're from the day you're born, you're automatically having adversity, and that is the external force that you cannot control. Right? You only can control you.
Yeah.
And how you make the decisions, how you react to the situations.
Exactly.
There's a saying that I always have. It's not what happened that defines you or what you did. It's what you do afterwards that defines you.
That's true.
You know, it's how you define that situation once it's happened that defines you.
And like I said, perspective is everything. You know, that's why when you were talking to me earlier about like what was happening with you today, and I told you like, yo, you're taking this pretty well. Like it's all a matter of like whether you choose to acknowledge it and let it ruin your day or not, and let it like just let it like, okay, it's just something else. It's just something that was out of my control, and I can't like really do anything about it. So I'm not gonna do anything about it in the sense of like react to it in a big, colossal, negative way.
Right.
And like when people react like that, it's almost like people don't realize that they're making their day a lot worse by like focusing on the negative, because only negative. It's magnet, like your energy's can magnetize in the sense of like, okay, negative attracts negative, positive attracts positive, you know. So the more positive you stay, the more you attract more positive situations in your life. If you reacted a different way, your day would have been a lot worse. Yeah.
And what he's talking about, for those of you who obviously don't know, because we were talking before the show started, you know, I don't want to go into too much detail, but long story short, you know, I had car problems, alternator failed, you know, I thought it was the battery or the exhaust pipe that had a hole, you know, I fixed all those things, and then turned out to be the alternator, and it really like put a lot of things in behind, even jeopardizing me doing the show today. But I'm here, I'm gonna be consistent, so don't worry. But in general, like throughout my life, I've had abrupt changes happen to me, completely out of my control, you know? And I learned at a very young age, you know, to accept things, you know, because I can accept what's outside of me, you know, but if I want to change something, I realized at a young age that I had to really change myself, because I can't always change what's outside of me, but I can always change who I am. And so throughout my life, no matter how many horrible situations I was in, and I was in a lot, you know, I would always respond to it with humor or with looking at it from a positive perspective. You know, it's optimistic. Don't get me wrong. I have moments where I'm completely depressed, pessimistic, crying like a fucking baby, you know, like being horrible up here, being hard on myself, beating myself up, you know, but it was because I was still trying to always become better within me. No matter what happened outside of me, I always wanted to make me better. That little by little, I started to change the things I would say about myself and how I dealt with things better, you know, and just progressively got from there, you know, grew from there. So I appreciate you saying that, because, you know, that is kind of the reason why I ended up meeting you and we ended up becoming friends. Because, see,
best friends.
My whole life, childhood, I moved literally from town to town. I've never stayed in a school more than 3 years until high school. And I went to high school for 4 years. So I went to the same high school for 4 years. That's the first school I ever went to for that long. Before that, I was always in a new school. So I always had to change and adapt. Because if I didn't, I was going to be miserable all the damn time. You know? And then after high school, I went to the military. Another abrupt change. Being in the military, whole different fucking environment. Right? Was in the military for 3 years. Got out. Another change. Back to civilian life. Right? What was I gonna do? All right. College. Started college. You know, thought I was gonna do one thing. Then scoop, I meet a Uber driver who introduces me to a network marketing business. Another abrupt change. I invested myself in that. Right? And investing myself with that, learning things from there that were very helpful. Eventually meet you randomly at Garden State Mall at a GameStop. Because in network marketing business, for you who have been in one, you know that you're taught how to mingle with people and how to get their attention so that you can give them the invite and bring them with you into the business and all that, you know, pyramid scheme. But that's exactly how we met. And if that would have never happened, we would have never became friends.
No, for real.
Right?
For real.
Like, I don't remember too much, but maybe if you start talking about how we met, it'll come back to me.
We were in a GameStop. I was about to leave. I had a long coat on. You complimented my coat. And then you randomly said, yo, you want to hang out sometime? That's exactly what you said. And I'm like, and at first I was a little taken back because it was only because it was random, right? Because like usually it doesn't happen. But then I was like, okay, I'll just follow up, you know? Because I'm not that kind of person that just like, if someone makes plans with me, I will just like follow up even if I don't know you. And by the way, everyone's a stranger until you get to know them anyway. So it's like, you know, and then we just saw the Lego Batman movie because we're such big Batman fans. And then it just escalated from there. We talk about like so many different things. I hear you laughing over there. Like,
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm just saying.
You said that my kid loves like the Lego Batman thing, so I just brought up a game and I was playing with him.
Oh, really?
And I just, he said he's a pain in the ass with this.
No, it's all good.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
But you know what's funny about that?
What?
That the day that we decided to go see the Lego Batman movie, this is how good of a friend this guy is. He already has seen the movie 3 fucking times. And it was my first time about to watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why you want to see this movie? You saw it like 3 times already. He's like, oh, I don't care. I really like the movie. And since you want to see it, we'll go and see it. And I'm like, oh shit, all right, cool.
Dark Knight Rises 11 times in the movie theater. I don't care. Like, I really
No, because some people are not like that. Like, I've dated girls who would get mad at me if I wanted to see the same movie over again.
Yeah, this happened to me once, but like it's not a big deal to me. It really isn't. Like I'll see if I like a movie. It's very rare when I don't like something, so I have no problem seeing it. And like we've been good friends ever since. So do you want to go into what else we've done over the years?
Yeah, like we've done a lot of stuff actually. We've been to clubs together.
Yeah.
We fucking. Where else did we go? Besides the clubs.
You want to talk about last year and how I was helping you with like moving out and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, yo. I tell you what, out of all my friends, this one came in clutch more times, and I wasn't even talking to him that often. Like, we wouldn't talk for like weeks. And if I have a problem, like there was one time where I had to move my shit. Called him up, yeah bro, I'll be right there. Just like that. And my other friends who I talk to all the damn time can't even fucking do that. That is and then it's not even once, a couple of times. You know how many times I've asked this nigga for money? You know how embarrassing that shit is? Of course I paid him back, but you know, still like, only friend to always like say yes. So I really appreciate you for that.
I mean, I won't let you know if I'm busy or anything like that. And it was
and he's real. Like there's times where you like where I call you and like this like, yo bro, I can't. I'm like, all right, cool.
Last year I had like,
you know, and I don't even get mad.
Yeah.
You know, because
I know
it is what it is. You know, yeah.
And also I come through.
Yeah.
But like last year I had like 2 jobs. There was one time where I was helping you move out. You had the van in like the street, and I was like tired as fuck, bro. And that was an all day thing.
Mm-hmm.
We had to move all your shit out of your apartment and move the dogs too.
Yeah.
While you had while you with your girl and your son. So we had like. So you're talking about like what? Me, you, your girl, your son, and the dogs. And you still have the cat too, right? So that's like 7 all together. And then move all your stuff to the storage unit. And then you wanted to like, that was a day. And then like, that was a day, man. Like that was one of the biggest days I can remember because I was so tired and I had to go to work right after. But you know, like I actually told this to my other friend too. Like everything I do for you, I'll do it for anybody else because I guess that's just the way I am.
No, and that's the funny thing because that's how I've always been. You know, and it's funny because before I met you, I was always like bitching about this to my girlfriends that I was dating throughout the time, you know? So like I would always tell them like, damn man, I never have a fucking friend who I can say is like my real best friend, who always there for me, who always fucking helps me, who would do what I would do, right? Never. I've done so much shit, invested so much time in people to get nothing back. Not a damn thing. And then I meet you and you just fucking change my whole fucking opinion.
That's great, man.
You know?
For real.
And then it's like, that makes you think about like, damn, wow. Like, and I kind of manifested it because when I started going into network marketing businesses, I was trying to really change myself. So me changing myself and really trying, it sent out energy. And that's one of the biggest topics that we always talk about is how we manifest our own desires.
Really, facts.
Because of, you know, it's not just positive thinking because it's not always positive thinking.
No.
It's about, you know, always being consistent with what you want and not giving up on it.
No, that's true.
You know, and doing a little bit of something that makes a path towards it. Right?
That's facts. That's facts, man. For real. And I never had a friend like you before either. Like in the sense of
I don't feel like I'm that special.
No, I mean in the sense of like the way we think is like I've told you this before. Like my thoughts are so radical that I don't think I'm fully aware of the kind of person that I am in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, you know, you're the physical manifestation of all my thoughts, basically. So it's like, you know, like I'm glad to have you as a friend, bro, because like I know like.
Wait, did you just say that I'm the physical
manifestation of my thoughts?
Of your thoughts?
Yeah, in the sense of like a lot of the things, because here's the thing, we're the same, but at the same time we're different too, because there's certain things that you do that I just like, why? Like, no, it's not in a bad way, it's just like, you know, like just like
there's a method to my madness.
Yeah, exactly. Method to the madness. I think that's the best way you can say it, because madness can be beneficial.
And I have a habit of doing that. Like, and I guess it's happened like in the past, I would say 5 years. That's something I've been struggling with because I used to do things without thinking about it too much. Right?
Yeah, just
but
like
then somewhere along the line, I got back to a point where I was thinking too much about stuff, and then I would end up doing things only for it to lead me back to my first instinct that I doubted. You know? So I know that it was annoying, but
it's all good.
Like,
I mean, like there's certain things, but like at the same time, they're so small, I don't even remember them, honestly. So it's like, you know, like
well, that's good.
Like, last year was a really big time for both of us because like I said, I was helping you during like a time where I'm like working a lot and I didn't even have time to like have alone time, not a social life, but just have like peace for myself almost. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta do this now. Because you would call me like a day or two before and it's like, yo, can you help me out with this? Like I wasn't gonna say no, but at the same time, I was like, damn, I have to like go and I gotta, and I'm serious. Like there are times where I would help you, it would be an all day thing.
I know.
I would go home like 8, 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, yo, damn.
I would feel so bad, yo.
I would sleep in the car and shit. Like, goddamn, like, but no, but I would do it again if anything because like, why not? You know, it's all good.
I appreciate that. But yeah, man, damn, it's a lot of shit. Yo, I'm smiked as fuck right now. I met
the majority of this guy's girls. I'm serious, like girls he's had sex with.
Not the majority.
Not the majority, but not a lot of them though.
You've only met like
3, 4,
2 exes, and then the current one.
No. Cause I didn't like. Oh, you know what? You might be right.
Yeah, 2 exes.
So not the one with your godson. I met the one that did our tarot cards.
Oh, I mean, you met exes.
Yeah.
But you didn't really get to know them.
No, that I know.
That's different. That's not
different. Okay, didn't I just say I met them?
You're going to get me in trouble, bro.
I didn't say, I'm not mentioning them by names. I'm not saying names. That's why I caught myself.
You slipping.
I almost slipped with the one, with your current. But
all right.
I'm good.
Anyway. But yeah, man. But, you know, and then things changed a lot. Wait, how long we been friends?
3 years. 2017 we met because Lego Batman came out on February 10th. We saw it, I think the week after. And like, so we've been friends since February of 2017 and it's now 2020. So,
you know, I like how you deduce stuff. Like you just, like when you're trying to remember something, you literally go step by step. I only do that in my head. I don't actually say it, but you actually say it. You actually say the process of how you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't even notice that as much. I do, but I also think, like, Sherlock Holmes in a lot of ways, too, because I love Sherlock Holmes, in the sense of, like, his deduction methods and just, like, do that. Also, we have Scorpio MC, so Scorpio energy, like, that does that shit.
But I do deducing, too, but, like, in my head, like, when I'm thinking about stuff, like, I like to meditate on my thoughts. So when I'm really trying to figure out a problem that I have, you know, my brain just, like, flies. Just like, you know, best example would be like Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. How he like plans it, he sees it like, and the funny thing is that the movies portray it like it's in slow motion, but really it's fucking fast as hell.
Right.
You know how you fucking come up with shit.
It really is.
You know? Then you have times when you like get stuck for smoking too much weed and you're like, fuck, I can't get this right because I'm too high right now.
See, I don't smoke like that, man. I just smoke it when it's there. I don't have those types of problems. That's just me.
Yeah, I gotta start smoking less, but I don't know if I can do it.
Yes, you can.
I'm trying to quit cigarettes, but that might end up making me more dependent on weed to mellow me out. But that's why I'm trying to start working out again, so that way I can see if working out helps me smoke less in general.
Right.
You know? To the point where like maybe I only do it at night or maybe only a couple times a week. You know, because like I love smoking, but I realize that even though it helps me when I don't want to think, when I do want to think, sometimes it's not beneficial. Only when I'm being creative, but when I'm trying to be practical, you know, and try to use the engineering side of my brain, I can't do it while I'm high.
I mean, we know the limits that we can have on you. It's beneficial, but at the same time, it's like it can hinder you too. It's too much of a good thing, too much of a bad thing. You know how it is.
Yeah, I mean, but then there's some people who smoke and they don't even realize that the more they smoke, the more they forget stuff.
I think that happens with drinkers too. Like some people just like don't realize the side effects of like alcohol and how real. And you know, it's funny. I was actually looking at like scotch and whiskey and how beneficial that could be. There was this woman. She's gone now. I think her name was Grace something. She used to live in the UK. She lived till she was 112 years old, and she actually atoned. I probably said that wrong, but actually said that the reason why I've lived for such a long time is I would have like some whiskey every night before I go to sleep. But it'd be like a small, almost like a shot form, but in a big glass. So it was like. Okay. And yeah, it's specifically whiskey though, not any sort of alcohol. Like, you know, red wine's supposed to give you those types of properties too. Like they're supposed to be healthy, and whiskey can do the same thing. I don't think I can do Scotch or bourbon. Am I saying that right? Or like,
bourbon.
Huh?
You talking about bourbon?
Bourbon. Yes,
right.
Bourbon. Yeah, bourbon and Scotch can give you that because they're whiskeys, right? So it's like that, and Irish whiskey too. Yeah. I think I only know one bourbon, and that's Wild Turkey, and that's one because Evel Knievel used to drink it. So besides that, I don't know any bourbon. I need to drink more bourbon. I actually got like a Total Wines catalog yesterday, and I'm just looking at like all these white wines and like Spanish wine and Italian wine.
I like wine. I'm a wine guy. I'm a wine guy and a Corona guy. That's the most thing that I like to drink.
See, I don't drink beer.
I like liquor here and there, but I'm not really like a liquor drinker.
I like liquor more than I like beer and others. So like I drink wine, but I haven't drank it recently. But like out of all alcoholic beverages, let's say, I prefer liquor and wine, red wine. So those are my actual favorites.
That's
That's
okay.
all good. So those are actually my favorite types of alcohol versus beer and like any other whiskey, you know. But yeah, that's those, and white wine too. White wine is not. I don't drink that as much either. Like I respect it. I like drinking every once in a while. But if I had to choose between red and white, I'm always gonna choose red. Always.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
I like some white wines.
Like the first time I had a drink was when I was 9, and like someone poured it for me. I was like, yo. I'm not gonna say who. I'm not. It's not like a stranger, but like I'm not gonna say who.
You want to know how ghetto I am?
How ghetto are you?
My favorite wine is the cheapest bottle. It's called Liberty Creek.
I thought you were gonna say
sweet red. It costs $6.49. It's a big ass bottle like this, and I fucking love that shit. I'll get drunk off that shit.
I thought you were gonna say Four Locos. I'm like, Jesus.
No.
It was like when I was in high school, they used to talk about that a lot.
I tried. The one time that I drank that shit, never fucking again. That shit gave me such a fucking hangover.
For real.
I hate that shit.
Cheap way to get
and then
drunk.
it's so hard to drink because it's so sour. And then
Which flavor
it's so
did you get?
alcoholic.
What flavor did you get? They have
I don't know. I
flavors.
think it was like
punch
watermelon or some.
Yeah, my problem is I mixed that. I mixed it with other drinks. This is when I was like still drinking like Cosmos. I didn't have like that kind of knowledge that I do now. I wasn't drinking like Long Island iced teas. I was drinking Cosmos at first, and people, you know, like that has the reputation of being a female drink. So I'm like, yo.
Well, we're about to end this right here.
All right.
Yeah. You know, I like our conversations.
Always.
Yeah, they're really cool. I hope other people like them too.
They should. It's not like these are beneficial conversations. I don't care what nobody says. We talk truth. Like, and here's the thing about us: we talk about things that, number one, people don't talk about on an everyday conversation, and the way we say it as well.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like. Yeah, I'll say it. Otherworldly almost.
Yeah.
So it's like people will listen to us. So I'm sure people will like them too. I mean, I'm being a little overconfident, but at the same time, you have to be.
Yeah.
You know? So, no, our conversations are always dope. Whether it's between us or whether it's on this camera, or cameras, I should say. And like, no, they're dope, man. Always great. Always great. Even our phone conversations, like, they're always dope because we always help each other.
Yeah.
Or we just talk to each other just for the hell of it. And it's like, we have the same brain. And it's so amazing.
Yeah. Not 100% the same though.
No, not at all.
No. Just very similar.
Similar, very similar. But
So that's what
similar.
happens when you attract like-minded people.
Yes.
You know?
For real.
You gotta surround yourself with people who have the same vision as you.
Yeah. And that's how you make your vision stronger.
Yeah. So, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Subscribe, comment, like, show your boy some love.
I'm done.
And I'll give you more content. But I'm gonna give you content anyway. So I don't really care, but I do care. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm
You're
smacked
random
right
as
now.
fucked.
Yeah. So peace out.